haven't really seen a ton of success, but their games are getting closer. The games are tight that they're playing. They haven't won a game yet, but the games that they're playing um, are nice and tight. So it could be coming. I'm not sure. We look here. The past week, two games played for the Storm. May 30th versus the New York Liberty, returning Breonna Stewart. Seattle lose that one 78-86. Our first player of the game, shooting guard Jewell Loyd, who is in our photo of the game here by Liz Wolter. 26 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist for Jewell. Our player of the game, number 2, power forward / center, Ezi Magbagor. The Australian big posted 12 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks on the day. So Ezi was all over the court, really. This was a tough one. I mean, obviously, the Liberty are considered one of the best teams in all of WNBA and considered one of the top 2 mega super teams, so to say. Um, and yeah, that was tough. The Storm stayed in that game just about all game long, but could never really close the gap in the third quarter by the Liberty. The end of the third quarter really was really what separated the Storm and the Liberty, and this game potentially, being a win or an overtime game for the Storm. Excuse me, June 3rd, as the Storm hit the road for the first time this year at the LA Sparks, was an 85-92 loss. It was a tough one too. I mean, Jewell Loyd put up a superhero type effort in that game, but it ultimately wasn't enough, as Seattle couldn't get enough out of the rest of their roster. Jewell Loyd, obviously our player of the game, 37 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1 block. So if we had to pick a player of the week, it would be Jewell Loyd, but things continue to struggle for the rest of the roster here. They're 0-4, yes, but outside of the first game of the year against the Aces, which was the biggest differential in points that the Storm have ever suffered, the biggest loss the team has ever suffered in franchise history, Seattle's been in these games. They've been in these tight games. Jade Melbourne has played better minutes, and I'm wondering when it is that she's a starter at this point for the team. It's been interesting to see Ivana Dojkic's minutes kind of just disappear. I thought that she was able to bring in good spark for this team, but she really hasn't seen too much going on for her lately. As I try to bring things up here, just to kind of get a look at things. But yeah, it continues to be the Jewell Loyd show, and we're not seeing enough support for Loyd here, whether it be off the bench or for most of the starters, really. I know that Kia Nurse had a quality game against the Wings, but otherwise has kind of been quiet. Unfortunately, because I know that was kind of a move that I was excited about, seeing Kia come off of injury and hoping that, it was kind of like I'm going to go improve things kind of thing, kind of situation. I apologize. But that just really hasn't been the case yet. We look here. Oh, the day before. Sorry, again, I'm trying to pull up these box scores here so we can get a more complete sort of idea of what we're looking at least over the past 2 games, at least over the Liberty and the Sparks game. We look at the Sparks game, first quarter was tied. We went into this game at halftime tied. Yeah, and it was ultimately that third quarter, LA kind of got some push. And got the win. Ezi put up 14 points in that game, almost another double-double for Ezi. Mercedes, 6 points is fine. Yvonne Turner, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block. See, that's the kind of effort, though, that would be fine off the bench. We've got Kia Nurse, 2 for 9, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 for 9 shooting, 1 for 4 from the 3. That won't simply cut it, going forward. Simon Whitcomb, unfortunately, hasn't really been able to find her stride either, going 0 for 4 in this game with only 1 point on a free throw. Jade Melbourne, 10 points off the bench, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. A big steal at the end of that game. Jordan Horston, 4 points as she continues to find her groove, 2 for 5. Rela Garantes only played 1 minute. I don't like that. I'd like to get Rela. Yeah, Ivana Dojkic did not play at all. Kyla Charles, 2 points, 8 minutes, 1 shot. So it's like you're not getting enough from your shooters here in terms of Nurse and Whitcomb. as your rookie. Horston continues to kind of battle into things here. We look at that Liberty game, and it's going to be mostly the same sort of stuff. Mercedes and Ezzy, both in double digits. I obviously mentioned the double-double for Ezzy. Yvonne Turner, 6 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Again, these are things that can come off the bench. Only 12 minutes, which is less. Mercedes Russell, who played the second least amount of minutes, played double the amount of minutes that Yvonne Turner played. In this game, again, Kia Nurse, same thing. 2 for 9, 1 for 4 from 3, and 5 points. Sammy had a better game in here, 4 for 8 from the field, 3 for 5 from beyond the arc, 11 points total. Better game there for her. Jordan struggled in this one, 2 for 11, 4 points. And then Kyla Charles didn't play any minutes at all. She played 26 seconds or so. Aurelia Garantes only played 3 minutes. I don't like that. I really don't like that. Dorcas didn't play at all. So yeah, I don't know. It's been interesting seeing the way that this roster shapes out, and it will continue to shape out considering we're only 4 games into it. You're just not getting enough from your shooters. You're not giving enough support to Jewell Loyd. They really don't have a consistent second scorer. It's becoming Ezzy Magbagor at this point. But yeah, that's one of my big storylines, is wondering when we see Jade Melbourne really step in as the starter, because it seems like it's inevitable. I know she's young. I know it's her first year in the W, but that's what I've said that this team is going to be about, is about going in there and letting the young players develop for the Storm. So I don't know. We'll see. Looking ahead, as I mentioned, the Storm are 0-4. They're 6 in the Western Conference now. They would have been worse. They would have been 5th, but the Minnesota Lynx won their first game of the year. So Seattle remains the only team who has not won a game yet in the WNBA. Looking ahead, June 6th versus the Sparks at home is their next game. They'll play the next 3 games at least over the course of the next week at home. That game against the Sparks is a 7 p.m. tip-off. That is on CBS-SN, CBS Sports Network, so that you can find out where that is. And then these next 2 games after that are both against the Washington Mystics, both of them at home. June 9th versus the Mystics is a 7 p.m. tip. And then June 11th against the Mystics is a 12 p.m. tip. That game is on ABC, interestingly enough. I don't know how long that will last. Yeah, well, I don't know if they can flex things. I don't think they do the flexing here. But yeah, those next 2 games at home for the Storm, which is nice, to continue to have games at home with this young team, continue to develop, get comfortable, grow the team chemistry, as Jewell Loyd mentioned after that game against the Liberty. Yes.